You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Thank you, Lisa. I like that we went from originally Lisa was the intro to the podcast, and then we got away from Lisa when there were sponsors added in, and then the sponsors left, and we're just right back to Lisa again. Circle of life.
You missed my singing era in there.
Well, the singing era was very important.
Yeah.
We might have to go back to that.
It was short. It was very short.
Too short for my liking.
To be honest,
what, 3 episodes?
Once the Vegas intro happened, I don't think there was any topping it. So it was really hard to think of anything.
Was that?
Can we not talk about Vegas right now? I'm still upset about the schedule.
We're going to get to that, Rick, my friend.
Saturdays every day in Vegas.
It is true.
I'll go for a fucking Tuesday. If it ends in
Listen,
Y,
I just spent
I'll
a
be
week
there.
in Vegas during the, I'll do it again.
If it ends in Y, I will be there.
It's fine. We'll get there. First, I want to start off with a shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle. Watch out for some Oodle Noodle and Oilers Nation collab content that's going to be starting in early July. They've got a new box coming out that we're going to be sampling for them and creating some content around. So watch out for that.
You're sampling the inside or the outside of the box? Are we working on
both delicious?
You have something to do with the menu and the art?
Art, no. The box itself has already been, put together.
Okay.
It's releasing in July.
Oh, so it's not. Oh, I see where we're coming with.
So we are going to be having some delicious Oodle Noodle to enjoy here in the office, as well as Free Agency Day on Saturday, Liam.
Yes.
The Nation Network War Room, or whatever you want to call. What would you call that outside? War Room?
I would call it a war room. Most days it's a war room. Tyler's here. Should I let him in?
Who said? I thought I told Tyler we didn't want him here.
It's true, you did.
Yes.
I read the text.
Make him wait.
I'm going to put him in. I think if I just click.
Keep him on
If
mute.
he's at Tootsie's, you cut him off.
Keep him in the waiting room.
You caved.
There he is in his sunglasses. Tyler, can you hear us? Oh,
I cannot hear him at all.
We need the volume up.
Is he just coming through your computer?
I think so.
We're trying to record a podcast in here.
Well, there you have it.
There's Tyler checking in from Nashville. There he goes.
Okay.
See you later. We should figure that out for Friday, or will he be home for Friday?
Well, the thing
Be in
is,
travel transit.
our mics are currently going through those speakers.
Yep.
So I'm a little unsure. I guess I could probably plug those in. Whatever. I barely got the camera set up today. You could kind of expect me to have everything ready.
We'll talk about that after, actually. What was I talking
nice of
about?
Tyler
Oh,
to
yeah,
check in,
Oodle
though.
Noodle. We're going to have some content coming up, including on Free Agency Day on Saturday. They're going to be sponsoring the free agency coverage that we're doing here at Nation HQ. Look out for that. But first, we got to start off the podcast with a delicious debate. Tyler, you there? No? All right. To Liam, our delicious debate, sir, for the fine folks at Oodle Noodle, 18 locations and counting. Of course, you can get free Oilers Nation stickers at any of the Edmonton locations.
The delicious debate.
Yes.
The NHL has been busy this past 26 hours or so. Let us debate the trades that have happened. Starting off with, I think, our old friend Taylor Hall, who was traded to the Boston Bruins, along with Nick Foligno, who they re-signed for 1
$4
year,
million.
$4 million today. And then 2 prospects in Ian Mitchell, former Spruce Grove Saint, and Alec Regula, who's another defenseman.
I do find it interesting that Nick Foligno had 26 points this past year. $4 million.
I don't really get that one.
I guess Chicago's
they're
got to
just
Try to get to the floor.
They're just trying to pay guys, and he'll be a good leader for them and all
Sure.
that kind of stuff. So maybe the extra $1 million is
So
probably
it's
fair.
just 1 year to get to the floor. That's all it is.
And then
Yeah, it's fine.
might be able to flip him at the
They'll probably
deadline
get traded
too.
to a contender at some point if you wanted. Well, I guess.
Chicago currently has 2 players in their forward group signed through next year.
Hell yeah.
Tyler Johnson,
Nope.
Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall and Andreas Athanasiou.
They don't have Tyler Johnson.
Oh, 2 of our
signed?
former friends.
No.
Yeah.
Tyler Johnson is a
UFA.
UFA next year.
Oh, so he signed.
I should say like into the 2024-25 season. So basically the
Yes.
entire roster is ready to turn over at a moment's notice the minute Connor Bedard is ready to compete. I mean,
Taylor
they
Hall-
knew
They're
this.
doing. Yeah, that's how you build it.
Taylor Hall's career has been weird.
Yeah, I
Started
feel
off-
kind of bad for him.
6 years in Edmonton, 3.5 in New Jersey.
Did not want to leave the city either.
Did
For
not.
the record.
Went to New Jersey. Won his
Won hard.
MVP in Jersey. Then he got traded to Arizona at the deadline 1 year. I forgot he was a Coyote for a minute. Then he did 37 games in Buffalo. Got traded to the Bruins. little bit of time with the Bruins, and now he is on his
team was
6th team.
That Sabres team was a disappointment.
Well, and
they had a lot of talent on that team, and they didn't do damn thing.
I did like that he signed the $9 million got the bag contract, though.
He was going to go and get that and then be traded at the deadline as his backup.
But that team was, big disappointment.
I feel bad for him because 2 years in Boston, let's just say, best team in the NHL last year. Obviously disappointing how it went out in the playoffs, but then you get moved to the worst team in the NHL. Chicago's not going to be good this year, even with Bedard.
They're not going to be good for a couple of years.
Arguably, his statistics will do fine just with Connor Bedard and him
personally.
But yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue with him anymore. I think the guy wants to win.
Like he's 31 years old now or close to.
Arguably, he's a rental option too for Chicago at the deadline too. They could send him somewhere.
Yeah. 2 years at $6 million. You do 50% retained and someone gets a $3
If you do
million
50% retained on Taylor Hall at $3 million, there's going to be plenty of takers.
I think I think you're going to see that with a lot of the players that Chicago adds.
Yeah, if you're not an LTIR though, then all of a sudden that's 50% at whatever's left on his contract too, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's 6, say it's, a fifth way through the year, you got $1 million. You're looking at $750,000 for him for the playoff stretch.
Yeah. And then next year's contract, whatever it is, but yeah.
So how would you grade the Taylor Hall trade, Liam? Starting off our delicious debate for our friends who don't know.
I would give it Chicago, honestly, probably an A. I feel like getting 2 trade pieces, but 2 guys who are really going to help it all is a really good thing. Like Nick Foligno's been a captain before. Taylor Hall has been Connor Bedard before, where he's gone into an organization and there's not really a ton of leadership there, I would say. So I think it's really good on that point. For Boston, to get something for Nick Foligno is very good. And you get 2 guys who are both, I believe, I don't know if Regular's played in the NHL, but Ian Mitchell has played in the NHL. Both RFA, so you're going to get them both back on cheap deals if you want to keep them.
If they want to keep them. Their whole point was dumping cap.
Pretty much.
And they did it, so they got away with it.
I would give both teams, I would give Chicago an A, Boston Bruins a B because they had to get rid of a really good player for nothing.
Yeah, I don't think you're too far off there. Yeah. Boston got exactly what they wanted and was able to dump some contracts. And I like the addition for a guy like Hall around a guy like Bedard, someone who's been there, like you said. When he got here, we surrounded him with absolutely no veteran talent.
That's what I was going to say.
Zero veteran talent.
No offense to Hork and Hemsky, but like
Penna. Come on.
It wasn't the type of guy you needed. And like Hall got here in 2010. When did Hemmer leave?
He left.
When did Hork leave?
Andrew Ferentz was a part of that organization. You guys,
and I stand by my original statement.
I think Horkoff was there for 2 more years, and Hemmer was maybe there for 3 because they were
Hemmer and Hall played for 3 years.
They might have, yeah, if I remember correctly.
I think 2 years.
I remember being at his last game against the Ottawa Senators, and he basically got on the plane.
Before he went to the Ottawa Senators.
I think I would flip my grade from what Liam did. I would give the Bruins an A+ because they are the best team in the league in the regular season last year. And they just went and made it that they now have $7 million in cap space to go and retool something, reconfigure something on their team, re-sign other guys, whatever they need to do. They just made it like teams that are that good should be in cap hell a year later, right? If you're looking at the way that the NHL has worked previously. And so it's annoying to me that Boston was able to pull that off. And then I give Chicago the B just because they helped Boston out there. And that's the only reason.
But the rumor is Chicago did it to re-sign Bertuzzi. And the rumor is right now is that they're not re-signing Bertuzzi now.
So they have 10 million and they got to get Trent Frederick. The rumor is Patrice Bergeron. Boston is operating as if Bergeron and Krejci aren't returning. So then outside of those 2, they have Frederick, Tyler Bertuzzi, Garnet Hathaway, Thomas Nosek, Connor Clifton, and Dmitry Orlov.
And it sounds like
and they have to
not resigning.
Yeah. And Swayman's an RFA.
Just gives them some flexibility where they didn't have it before.
For sure. They still have 10 million.
Yep.
So
that's frustrating to me. But yeah, it makes sense for both teams. It's a good deal for both teams. And so that's frustrating as a fan of not one of those teams.
Like I said earlier, I just feel bad for Taylor Hall. The fucking guy can't stick on a team that's any good for.
It's not like it's on him either, right? He's not like played his way out of Boston.
No, he had 8 points in the playoffs for them in that 7-game series. Yeah. Pretty sure he's the highest point getter.
Probably.
It's just, to me, it's just a really interesting career path for the guy.
Shout out to Weena Motown, who made the joke that he had to follow the draft lottery thing, even though it was in the wrong order.
Normally he gets
He's
there
the one,
and then they get the first overall pick.
But
so where's the first
it was
round
just
to go
written
next
in the
year?
stars. Wherever he goes.
So it's pretty much already done that Chicago gets the first round 2 years in a row.
I don't know. What if he gets dealt at the deadline?
With Bettman in charge, it was already going there.
Dealt at the deadline, that team misses the playoffs, they win the draft lottery.
What's the next trade we're looking at, Liam?
Kevin Hayes to the St. Louis Blues at 50% retained, which is basically $3.5 million for a 6th round pick going
For
back
3
to the
more years.
Philadelphia.
Was this trade not held up earlier because somebody on the Blues was supposed to be going that needed?
Yeah, it was Torrey Krug.
So
He's
he
like,
needed to
"Nah."
waive, and now the return is instead of Torrey Krug going, it's a 6th round pick.
Bingo.
How did it go from what
Sorry, it
was
is
the
3 more years.
negotiations? I'd love to know.
I feel like
We
Torrey
want
Krug is
Torrey
slightly
Krug.
better than this year's 6th round pick.
Nah. We want Torrey Krug. All right, Torrey, we want to trade you to Philly. We are going to get Kevin Hayes. And he just goes, fuck that. All right, 6th round pick it is.
I will take it.
Between this and then the Provorov trade earlier, it just feels like Danny Briere wants to get out from underneath some of the old not Holmgren.
He wants to
He's a
change the
Hextall.
culture.
Hextall.
Yeah.
The Hextall moves.
So
Last year in
He's
81
rebuilt
games.
as a new GM.
yeah.
Last year in 81 games, Kevin Hayes had 18 goals, 36 assists for 54 points. So it's not like he's...
Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
a good
Hayes is
player.
that guy that always, everybody, when he signed that contract, everybody was like, whoa, that smoke
he signed
is-
it after...
Was he with Winnipeg when he signed the deal? When he
I think
left?
he left. and went
he
to
wrapped
Philly.
up the year with... He went from the Rangers to the Jets, signed with Philly in 2019, 2020.
For how much?
6-7
It was an
million.
average of 7.14.
So there's
Was
one
the
that's just,
AAV.
I feel like for a guy like Hayes, that's got to just be like number also hurting you. Not your fault that you accepted that contract, but
I just look at St. Louis's picks and they just accumulated all those picks from trading guys. They have an extra 3rd rounder this year, an extra 3rd rounder next year, an extra 2nd next year, and then 3 first-round picks this year. And the only thing Philadelphia could get out of them was a 6th round pick.
almost had Torrey Krug though.
It's
Weird. How we went from Torrey Krug to a 6th round pick is amazing to me.
I mean, Philadelphia for me is a major F. I get it. You want to move on from cap and everything, but Kevin Hayes is a good NHL player and you can still get something for him, even if it is kind of like a mid-level prospect. And I know the money was something you wanted to move, but also now you only have one retainable spot left. And it just seems like a really weird thing to be doing. For St. Louis, I think this is a killer deal to get Hayes. What is he now? 31 years old, 56 points you said last season, BM?
Yep.
$3.5 million for 3 years. St. Louis have really turned this around so quickly.
That's a nice bargain for St. Louis. Like as far as the trade goes, that's a hell of a trade for St. Louis.
Yeah. So
I do not understand it from the Philly angle.
So I'll go A again for St.
I'm giving St. Louis an A.
And then F minus for Philly.
Ooh.
Yeah. Horrendous. Like, surely this is not the market. I get like the money, the cap and everything
Cap
like
dump.
that. It is a cap dump, but like you're cap dumping a guy that's actually pretty good. He's a 2nd line center.
But
Right?
from a team that's not that great anyways. Doesn't
I just
matter
don't
to
understand like how Philly's like,
know.
okay, we're going to retain half of this contract and all we want is one of the worst picks you can give.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, it's a head scratcher, and it feels like Philly is doing what Arizona had done, what Chicago ended up having done to them. Like
that is what they're trying to do.
How you
Yeah.
rebuild though.
Score.
What you do, strip it down and start from scratch.
yeah, they are tearing her down.
But Chicago still got a lot back for what they moved out, didn't they not?
Well, yeah, but Chicago's players that they moved were the Docs and the Brinkets of the world. Whereas I'm not saying that Kevin Hayes is a bad player.
No, I know.
But I think that number is what is.
Kevin Hayes is 31. Those guys were both like 21.
Yeah.
Those guys were at the beginning of their career. Kevin Hayes is at the end of his prime.
Yeah.
And I feel like these GMs right now, like the top, like every time I hear that $1 million that the cap space is going to be next year, allegedly, it seems like the GMs are just panicking at that.
It's not going up $1 million. It's going nothing.
It's only going up within that 1 million window, or is it going up?
No, it's
not
like
all
it's
now?
sticking at 83.
Oh, well, see, and
85.
I feel like
Staying.
GMs are panicking at that.
No shit. I would be
And
too.
this
It is
Exactly.
wild. Like I was looking through Cap Friendly's got the history of the cap, which is interesting to look at. since Ken Holland has been GM of the Edmonton Oilers,
Gone up $2 million.
$2 million.
81.5 to 83.5. And people want to sit here and like blow and tear Holland apart and stuff. There's a serious asterisk beside what he's doing here.
We were saying this yesterday on Real Life. We had a very makeshift crew yesterday on Real Life,
to say the least.
but just brought in Evander Kane, brought in Zach Hyman, brought in Nugent Hop, brought Nuge back on a team friendly deal.
Very.
He's got a lot of work done with next to no money. Like, I don't know. Liam said yesterday, it's kind of like, you got to give him some love for keeping the band together with no money to spend.
And he added around it. He's improved our secondary, like the secondary scoring. He's improved the bottom six. He's improved all the six defensemen. Three of them he's brought in.
He's what? There's like 1 year he hasn't tried to acquire something to help.
And all people want to do is sit here and yell about fucking AA and the Cassian contract, which are both prior to COVID.
But even those were good shots.
Like, that's what I mean. Yes, those are just fine.
You thought
with the way the cap's been moving, with the way the cap has been moving all the whole time, those were just fine moves.
Yeah,
and if he didn't make those moves, people would have lost their mind. Maybe the Cassian thing is different because he's such a polarizing player. Some people loved him, some people hated him. Blah blah blah. But AA for the 2 second rounds, that's what you do with that.
And Mike Green coming in as
and then
for a flyer of a guy.
And then if there's no COVID, who knows? Maybe Mike Green stays around for another season.
And same thing with Athanasiou. If the cap goes up, then he's around. There's a whole bunch.
And nobody sits there.
At least he gets
like go through, and it's a terrible example, but go through Twitter and read all those damn things about all these old dudes that are sitting there tearing them apart but not one of them will give him credit for that.
There's one thing I know about Twitter. That's where the most rational arguments come. I want to talk about the PLD trade before we move on to the next thing, or the alleged rumored trade. It still has not happened yet as we're recording.
No, it was on TSNs.
And so the trade
it is done?
The trade has happened, but the return is not confirmed.
Yes.
Okay. So what we got so far?
Let me pull it up here, but it looks like he's going to the LA Kings. What was it? $8.5 million for 8 years, I think.
Yes, he's getting 8.5 over 8 years.
I mean,
Dan made the joke. I want to give Dan full credit ahead of the podcast. He has already requested a trade out of LA. Hasn't gotten there yet.
See, I saw somebody say, kind of like scoffed at it and said that's Leon money, but I don't agree.
It's not really Leon
that's
anymore.
End of contract Leon money.
But you also you can't
Leon money. What is that now? 6
years
ago?
End of contract. Exactly.
Hard to give credit, or hard to take.
You can't
Dubois
compare
down
the
too many pegs for that. But
$8.5 million.
Yes.
27 goals, 36 assists for 63 points last year with the Jets in 73 games.
Still
make it make sense, Bag Milk. Like, why? What has Pierre-Luc Dubois done to prove himself a player of?
I'll tell you what he's done. I'll give you
65 points or whatever.
63 points is no joke.
I do think 8.5 is probably $1.5 million too much, but it's in at least the.
I'll tell you what it's done. It's opened up the Oilers' avenue through the Pacific a little bit. Listen, their depth at center to me was not the reason that they lost that series against the Edmonton Oilers.
I don't see that team adding a Pierre-Luc Dubois and being like, oh.
Like if it's Iafallo he's part of it, correct?
So Greg has said on ON Every Day today that it's Iafallo, Villari, and Kapari.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other names that rhyme in there. So I got
so many. That's so many. Kempe,
you would imagine I would imagine there's probably a pick in there, maybe.
LA feels like they got out offensed against us and took an opportunity to just try and fix it. And by doing so, I think shot themselves in the foot a little bit with the effectiveness they had.
Because Gabriel Villari, he's the guy I'm going to focus on right now. He's just kind of getting going on his NHL career.
It's his best
huge,
season.
6'3", 250 pounds, 23 years old, just put up 23 goals and 41 points. He is 65% of the way to what PLD put up last year with Winnipeg.
And he missed a ton of games, didn't he?
He only played 63 games.
Yeah. So yeah, he's very good. I'm surprised there's more to the deal other than just him. Like if it was Villari and then like a couple of picks, and I think that would be more reasonable for LA, but you're giving up so much depth. Like I hate that guy because he's such a pest.
Exactly.
And he was very, very good for LA in the playoffs against the Oilers.
And PLD disappears in the playoffs.
It's crazy to me that they're getting multiple players out of him after requesting another trade.
In 5 games with the Jets against the Golden Knights, he had 4 points. In 7 games his first 7 games in the playoffs with the Jets, he had 3 points. In Columbus, he did 0. Well, he had 10 points in 10 games in 2019-2020.
Overrated.
It's a confusing one.
We're talking about a dude who's in his early 20s and on his 3rd team already.
On his own. Like it's
it's not like
It's not a Taylor Hall situation.
yeah, he's 25 years old. Just turned 25 a few days ago. Happy birthday. I guess getting $8.5 million times 8 is a nice birthday present as there is.
it's not bad.
But yeah, I don't get that one.
I think the Montreal Canadiens did the right thing here.
I do too.
Avoiding him?
Knowing that like, hey, like
They were going
if when he becomes an unrestricted free agent and he wants to be here, then it is what it is. Rather than giving up those assets to do it, like that would just be, it just seems unnecessary. For
What was the other place he asked out of?
Columbus. And they got Patrick Laine and Jack Roslovic.
Yeah.
He's been involved those are 2 huge trades. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and the signing before it is a huge part of it too.
This buyer beware a little bit on this one, I think.
It's wild.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him in LA.
Is there a no movement clause in there now that kicks in?
Probably, I would imagine. Then the interesting thing about this will
The
be
team put it in themselves.
PLD is going to a market where no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
That'll probably actually help him a little bit. Maybe.
You got to think that, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it could be. He's never come out and said what his thing is. It's not like a Greinke situation.
I can tell you one thing. Winnipeg, no airport, tired of the bus rides. Makes sense. 2, their van cabs only allow 4 people in them for some reason.
Stupid.
3, their curbs are very high. Like if you've got a bum knee or maybe something going on with your hip, just lifting your leg up those curbs is very hard. You can't eat at Mitzi's all the time.
You might be allergic to chicken fingers.
You could be.
And then, I mean, with Columbus, that cannon's incredibly loud.
Yeah, it scared Johnny Gaudreau. He admitted that.
Probably hurts his ears.
Go on. Keep telling us about your Columbus knowledge. Go on.
So
that's all I got.
The Kings center depth next year will be Kopitar, Danault, and then Dubois, and then Blake Lizotte.
Which is very legit, but I would imagine that they're not going to play all 3 of them stacked.
Who's going to play net for
You don't think so?
Do you want Danault as your 3rd line center?
Probably.
Why'd you bump Byfield out of there, by the way?
I thought Byfield
because he's playing on. I just assumed that. But he played the wing a lot. Didn't he in this? I'm
just looking at what you're looking at, and they have Byfield in the 3rd spot here. And you didn't even bump him down 1 spot. Removed him.
Well, hey, they just got rid of Iafallo and Velarde, who are both their right wingers, 2nd and 3rd line right wingers.
Shuffle them over,
and then Kapari is the 4th line left winger.
All I can tell you so far this summer is that Edmonton is living rent free in the Kings' heads.
Look, I'll say this too. Like, I don't know if I really believe this as much, but Stoff was saying on the radio on my way in is that there's been like whispers about when Leon's contract is up that LA might be a place for him. I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's the girlfriend's job out there or whatever. I really don't know what the connection was there. However, he said, if this goes, because obviously it was before the trade was official, maybe this kind of puts a kibosh on that.
Why is Stoff even putting that in the universe?
I've heard it before too, and I don't really know why.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but he brought it up, so it's
Stop.
Sorry, who are the players that are going again? It's IFL. No,
Iafallo, Rasmus Kapari, and Gabriel Velarde. Another thing too.
So they've only got $4 million to.
Does this team not kind of
get a goal?
Scream Carolina Hurricanes,
like LA Kings,
where it's just like they're going to be very good. Now, don't get me wrong, but it's also just like you just got a bunch of guys who are just very good.
Man, I was terrified.
No superstars, right? Like
I was legitimately terrified that they were going to get Hellebuck. I was actually worried that team was going to have a number 1 goaltender behind them, but I think you're right.
I want to see what Hellebuck does outside of Winnipeg.
I want to see where Hellebuck goes. I just don't know.
LA has $4 million and change to go and get a goalie now, if I'm doing my math right there, because Velarde's the only guy under contract still.
Well, $4 million change means you have to do a UFA route, and I don't know if there's a lot.
That's what I mean.
No,
Iafallo's the only one under contract.
Or that's right.
So that's $4 million.
On top, and then they added the 9 or 8.5 of.
They have like 4 or 5, whatever that.
If they don't have to re-sign any RFAs or getting raises and whatnot.
So I just
they only have 4 defensemen.
It's a weird move by LA.
Well, I hope they got they're good athletes
and $4 million to cap space to move. Like that's a team that took Edmonton to the brink last year. And then Edmonton, took a step further this year, I think, and showed their goaltending can't keep up with us. And so I don't know. I'm all for it. Go and make that transaction, LA.
I say they only have 4 defensemen, but then they have guys like Brent Clark, who can probably play in the NHL next year. Jordan Spence is an NHL player, probably too. I mean, it'll be interesting. They got Phoenix Copley, who was very good for them in goal last year. So maybe they just ride with him and try and do what they did at the deadline.
I want to give a shout out to our friends at Cornerstone Insurance. We go check out cornerstoneins.ca. There you will find that Cornerstone Insurance Brokers have been Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. If you visit cornerstoneins.ca/nation, you get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just moments using the discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. Get the insurance you need and a discount while you're at it. Everybody's having a good time with that. Of course you are. I want to move on from some of the trades. Lastly, just on the trades real quick. I don't understand Montreal giving up a first and a second to get Alex Newhook.
Me neither.
I don't get that one at all.
One or the other makes sense, but why do both?
Per game guy.
I love Ryan McLeod, but if that's the rate for Alex Newhook, I'd be curious to see what Ryan McLeod could get.
Yeah.
He's got to be top 20 first round pick. I would if it was me, I'd be like, okay, screw the second pick and just make the first pick better. I'm
not saying I want to trade Ryan McLeod. That's not what I'm saying, but I am curious based on that trade, what he could fetch.
The other thing too, which I didn't know until this moment, Montreal have no money. Cap space is 0, and it says
all their fans are dying
over by 1 million.
That's what I've heard.
Don't forget. Never forget.
How are they going to get more money if they've got no one to sell tickets to?
Newhook's 5'10" as well, so they're going short again.
So, yep. That'll help.
Marty St. Louis loves going short.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
Honestly, I know, I think it was John. Yeah, John Scott put out that take a couple weeks ago being like, that is one of the smallest teams I've ever seen. And that got people really upset. But
it's true.
At some point,
it is a thing.
Size is a thing.
If you've got two players that are relatively equal skill wise, the advantage is always going to go to the one that's bigger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Montreal just keeps getting smaller,
especially in a contact sport.
Dude, there's been very few Marty St. Louis.
Oh, but Rick, there was a Marty St. Louis.
Like Johnny is a good player who's small, but again, he's an outlier. He's not the norm.
He wasn't a superstar.
Yeah, and Johnny's never done what Marty St. Louis did.
No, but still, he's got a 100-point season under his belt.
Perimeter player, I think.
Yeah, which is fine. My point more so is just he's an outlier more so than the norm for a player that's small. Anyway, I want to look back at last night's NHL Awards. I've got the list of winners. Let's start off with a look at our hero, Connor McDavid. He just cleaned up. He won, he was officially given last night, the Rocket Richard and the Art Ross won both of those for most goals and most points. And then he started off the evening with the Ted Lindsay Award. He said in his speech, first of all, took a little jab at Calgary, which I appreciate. Second, this is the award, I'm paraphrasing now, this is the award that is the most prestigious one we give away of the evening, which was perfect given what happened with the Hart Trophy later on in the evening. To me, I don't understand why the Ted Lindsay goes first. If I'm a player in the NHL, which I should be, there's still time, you can draft me. Mm-hmm. I would rather receive an award that was voted on by my peers as opposed to one that's voted on by a bunch of media.
Because it's not about the players. It's about the voters. It's about getting all those writers out there and getting their names involved in things.
Well, there is one name that is floating around today of those writers.
So let's talk about it. Last night, Connor was one vote away from a unanimous Hart Trophy, whatever you call it. There's a dude from Pittsburgh.
I think we should bleep his name out for the entire
We won't even say his name.
When we say his name,
the dude from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He voted Connor as the 5th place finisher for the Hart Trophy, gave Pasta the first vote.
Yeah.
I wrote about it today and I was just listen.
Did you see that he put Sorokin 3?
Yeah, there was Kachuk was in there. Sorokin was in there.
So he put Sorokin 3. Now go to the Vezina and he voted Ullmark, not Sorokin. So he's got Sorokin ahead of Ullmark in the Hart, but not in the Vezina. And for the record, before we there's 2 writers out there that it should be under the view.
Okay.
One of them,
Liam.
Yeah. The other one voted Panarin over Connor as first line all-star center.
No, it was Zibanejad.
Oh, my bad. Whatever. Same
Even
guy.
worse. But on top of that, the same gentleman didn't have
I like the silence.
Didn't have Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid on his MVP ballot last year. which is just ridiculous.
At that point,
It's like, what are we doing?
it's almost like you're slapping the organization in the face, like the rest of them, because the rest of those voters took it seriously and took time to think about it.
They want the spotlight,
and like
they want
before.
talk about me. Talk about
before
me.
before podcast. You said somebody made a mistake and then they owned it. Who was that?
Gord Miller voted Eric Stahl for the Selke second, but he wanted to actually vote Jordan Stahl.
but like that could have just as easily come out just like this one did, where it's like gets filtered out through the media, and but he owned it because he has the respect for that organization and the process that he went through to do that.
Well, that was a mistake.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
This other dude didn't make a mistake. He's making it about himself.
I really appreciate that the Writers Association has made the names available, because we're able to put a face to this stupidity now. But like, why is that guy still voting?
I find it hilarious. And that's why, to me, again, this is just another example in my never ending, whatever it is, about the Ted Lindsay being the most important award. It's the players that vote on it, not some fucking guy.
Connor said it.
Connor said it. It's true.
Yeah. It's time for every award to have a player voted on element, I think.
Or give them awards where fans get to vote. I'd like a vote.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got just as much of reason to be voting on NHL awards as a guy who has Connor McDavid as
why not have 3 of each?
Best player in the NHL.
Especially some of those guys that used to go to bed at like 10 o'clock.
That's exactly
which is 8 o'clock here. And they miss everything. They don't even care about watching. They just watch SportsCenter in the morning and try and come up with it after that.
In case you've been living under a rock, Connor McDavid's 153 points was the most in decades in this league.
He's watched Sidney Crosby a few times.
Well, it was almost like I was thinking about that as I was driving in today. He's just like, well, Sid didn't have a very good year. I guess I can't vote him for the Hart. So nobody can win the Hart.
And Sid never won a unanimous Hart trophy either. So.
And Connor lit up the Penguins this year too. So like the games that this dude actually watched with him, and when Connor was in the building, he put up 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. The Penguins got booed off the ice that night.
We did discuss that it wasn't the same guy it was a different guy that put Zibanejad.
Yes.
But he was the only person to not vote McDavid.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he was the only person to vote Zibanejad in the top 3. Also, that Dubois trade is official, and he was a second round pick in it too for
those 3 players
Winnipeg
as well.
No, it was a 3 players.
Winnipeg got more,
and the second from Montreal.
Winnipeg, good job.
And then
Chevy with the hell of a trade there. For a guy who does not want to be there, has said, but he got traded to Winnipeg and essentially on day 1, shift 1, he goes, by the way, I'm not re-signing here. Fuck all of you. To get that kind of a haul for him.
Yeah.
Pretty solid work by Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Still hope for you guys in Calgary. Before your players wanted to leave.
No, there's not. There's no.
You don't have Cheveldayoff as your GM.
That's true.
I don't know. Like Craig Conroy hasn't done anything yet. He's got to be sweating in his boots just thinking about this.
I just assume Craig Conroy is, you know what? I still think that he's got the best position this summer because he could just sell off everyone and go, what was I supposed to do?
It's true. It's true. There's not going to be a lot of like, oh, you could have gotten better. It's like, could he have? I don't know.
I think Frank was saying, I guess quickly, that a lot of those guys would actually stay. And it's not like they hate being in Calgary. They just want different things. Like,
so it's like they've got a list of demands. And
Tyler Toffoli wants a long-term deal and they won't sign him for a long-term deal because he's 31. Noah Hannafin just wants to play in the US again. Lindholm wants to stay too, but they can't find the dollar figure. And then Backlund.
That was the one that yesterday made me happy because they were like, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember which insider said it, but it was like Flames doing full court press to sign Michael Backlund to a long-term extension or something like that.
Yes.
Please do sign a guy in his mid-30s to
it's got Sean Horkoff signing
Please
all over it here.
I would love it.
The gentleman who voted for McDavid, didn't vote for McDavid first. His Norris ballot was Adam Fox in first, which is fair enough. Then it was Heiskanen, Quinn Hughes, Mikhail Sergachev, and then Cale McCall was fifth. So Eric Carlson.
He didn't even have Eric Carlson on his ballot?
He didn't have Eric Carlson on his ballot. I think I remember seeing Eric Carlson was 7th on his ballot.
Well, I think if you look at these, we need to start talking about relegating some writers down to bloggers and some bloggers up to writers.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying that I want to vote, but like a guy like Tyler, as an example, he could have Tyler watches way more hockey than dude that voted Connor 5th. Not even having the Norris Trophy winner in his top 5. Like what?
Could you imagine just the votes come in and it comes up on the board and like Connor McDavid has all of them, and then you see your one vote in fifth, and you're like, shit. Tomorrow is going to be a tough day.
I was thinking about that.
Sneaking out of his chair.
Except that the guy, like all of these writers put their like they tease out their picks beforehand. Like you could look at your colleagues and see what the hell they're going to be doing. The guy has no excuse unless he's been living under a rock.
It's funny you say that, Liam, because in my article about it today, like this was before the news came out of who it was, and I posted, I'm like, all right, who had Connor fifth on their heart ballot? And then there was a little.
Everybody said the guys out of Boston.
Yeah, because Pasta got the vote. But my note was, there's somebody right now walking around Nashville going, oh fuck! As soon as they find out it's me, my day is going to be ruined.
He was the guy at the airport.
I love it.
Excuse me, somebody here hitting the bell. Bing, bing, I need to move up my flight.
Yes.
If you would like to ask the guy from Pittsburgh why he voted Connor as the fifth best player in the National Hockey League last year, our friends at AMA Travel would like to help you find him.
He was probably calling them.
He's like, AMA Travel, get me out of Nashville. If you want to save money on travel insurance, cruises, vacation packages, guided vacation, coach tours, hotels, car rentals, attractions, luggage, and accessories, AMA Travel has got everything you need, including, which I personally love, if you go to the amatravel.ca/dream, just give them a couple of details. They'll spit out a vacation for you. What are you smiling about over there, Liam?
So this guy, I just read his Calder.
Mister.
Mister.
Oh no.
He had Stuart Skinner first on his ballot.
All right, so we like him again.
So he's back on the train.
We like him again. Okay.
Someone's getting a Christmas card.
All right. You know what? Take back everything I said about you for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, he had Skinner, Beniers, Michelli, the most Finnish Italian ever, Wyatt Johnston, and then Jake Sanderson. Not a lot of love for Logan Thompson, which I thought was kind of weird. Also, I'm very surprised how big of a gap there was between Beniers and Skinner in
800
Bowen.
points.
800 points. It just seems weird. Like, I thought Skinner consistently got better throughout the year as like Beniers scoring
Plateaued
goal rate
and started
went
to
down. He was still
come down
scoring
a
a lot of points, but yeah,
I just think that
wasn't
that
well.
Beniers probably had this early season hype around him, and also then like just to me that's like once you get a Calder like that first like it's that first like 1/3 flagpole when people check in on that, I find that's usually the guy that wins it anyways, just because the voters don't think about that all the time.
I blame Connor and Leon.
Unless it's an elite
I mean,
player.
why wouldn't you pick the guy who finished fourth in his own team scoring? Anyway, I had
because of
a
Connor and Leon.
bunch of Seattle Kraken fans, even though they've been fans probably 15 minutes, allegedly, in my opinion, in my mentions last night, because I was just like, listen, I get it. Beniers had a solid season. Oilers don't make the playoffs without Stuart Skinner. Full stop. Seattle makes the playoffs without Matty Beniers.
But I guarantee you, people are making the argument that Beniers doesn't have Connor and Leon on the team, and Connor and Leon are the only players on the Edmonton Oilers, and any goaltender could have done what Skinner did.
Well,
I'm
that's
just
why
saying,
they play 60 minutes per night, each of them.
to all those Seattle fans, your clock has started. You have 5 years left to win a Stanley Cup, or else you're a failure. So
They are already.
It's unfortunate that we cheer for the Oilers because it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen that video out of Japan where it was the 3 professional soccer players against 100 children.
Oh, yeah.
And they just went and did their thing. And it's unfortunate that the Oilers have 2 players that do it against 5 others for 60 straight minutes.
it's true.
Except for they're not children.
And they're not children.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
The Frank Saravalli also voted for Stuart Skinner, along
Good dog.
with Mike McKenna. The goalie union stays strong. Jason Gregor, Owen Power.
Damn it, Gregor. That's why you're an intern.
That was the difference.
Never going to get out of the intern doing that.
Gregor, the intern, should have his vote pulled too.
Yes, he should.
Is his vote registered as his former employer?
He only gets half a vote.
Yes. They took away half of it.
That's right. That's why he's an intern. Go to his Twitter account where it now says Jason Gregor, the intern. Right?
Is that his new Twitter account?
Tyler's going to yell at him right away.
He hasn't got, if he hasn't brought Tyler his coffee in a timely fashion, Tyler gets mad.
He gets pissed.
He gets real mad. Gregor's going to have to deal with that all week. You know? I was having so much fun today in the Oilers Nation Everyday chat calling him Gregor the intern. Oh, fuck, was I having fun.
How was he handling that?
He laughed it off.
Yeah, then he said, I'm 10 years old. That's all you got? Anyway. Anything else from the NHL Awards that stuck out to you guys?
The Stelters.
I was going to say the Stelter thing was cool.
The one thing, so I'm a big fan of Paul Bissonnette. I am. I think he's good for the game. His shtick can get tiresome at times. I get that, but like
part of his shtick though.
Yeah, that's part of it. So, but on the whole, I think that having him on broadcasts is fun.
Oh, 100%.
Just last night, I thought that he didn't have any dance partners last night, and that made the shtick tiring for me.
Yeah, from like the things I've seen on Twitter and stuff. So obviously I'm getting him in like little spurts. I thought he was funny. I didn't mind anything he did. And I laughed at the people who think that they come out on Twitter and like, oh, Biz is cringe. Or like, or whatever. You guys
I'm not saying cringe. I just thought like
some people, they're literally saying that. It's like, you guys are just old, and it's like, they're trying to like have some fun here and open up to a wider spectrum than just like this little part of, the population that they talk to everybody.
For me, he needed a dance partner, because he was trying to do a lot of the comedic heavy lifting on his own, and his panel mates were just dry toast.
Like TNT basketball is funny because Shaq and Chuck bounce off each other very well.
But the other two are right there too.
They're
Ernie's
good.
there.
But I think if you just had the three of them and Chuck or Shaq, it wouldn't be as good. Like you need those two guys, and Biz.
And the best part of last night's awards was when Frank Saravalli actually wanted to play along with him during the hot chicken sandwich bit. Where
I know you were a little nervous there, wondering how Frank was actually going to handle it.
Yeah.
Not knowing Frank at all anyways, I thought it was funny. I thought a lot of these guys are going to just like eat it up, because he does have that personality level. It's just fun to be a part of.
Well, here's my thing here on Frank. So again, huge kudos to Frank, because he was the only one that played along with Biz all night, outside of Connor, actually. Yeah. When if you haven't been paying attention, Biz wants to know about Connor's hot tub, has been asking about it for years. So then last night,
Elliot's okay. He's just not. Yeah, it's not natural to him.
Yeah. So last night he goes to Connor. He goes, well, if you win the Hart Trophy, I'm going to donate 10 grand to a charity of your choice if you thank your hot tub in your acceptance speech. So Connor just looks at him and goes, how about the Ben Stelter Fund? And he goes, deal. So to his credit, Connor, first thing, he gets his Hart Trophy. He looks over, he goes, well, Biz, I want to thank my hot tub. And there's 20 G's raised for the Ben Stelter Fund right there, because Connor said he would match. So I loved that. But again, Biz had a dance partner.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it was Connor's generally pretty starchy, but he ended up being the most fun. Back to Frank though, where I thought Frank was going to get mad because he got milk on what I assume is not a cheap suit. And all I could think of was him sitting there for the remainder of the evening, festering.
Cooking under the lights in a milk suit. That's all I was thinking. But I confirmed today he was not upset at all. Milk suit fine.
Did it look like he spilled that much? I didn't think it looked that much was spilled.
Oh, Frank doesn't waste food. He'll catch it all.
But those BioSteel water bottles, you need to give them a good squeeze, and then you get a serious stream. I've had to put mine aside and use two others at home instead.
That reminds me, actually, I was at the Elks game on Sunday, and one of the people I was with bought their 6-year-old son one of those like horn foo-foozella things. But those, you got to really give it a toot to make any sound going. Yeah. So to see a little man with little lungs being like, and getting nothing out of it was
You're not there yet. You're not there yet.
Anyway.
Did you get the glasses?
Oh, you know I got the glasses. Yeah. You know I got the glasses. Liam was wearing your glasses. He's already trying to adopt them for Vegas next year.
Oh yeah, mine are over here. They've worked their way into the rotation already.
Speaking of AMA travel, the schedule came out today, boys.
Boo.
Yes. We have a meeting to take you behind the scenes really quickly. Every Tuesday morning, we have a meeting just a Zoom meeting for all Nation HQ staff where we kind of check in on the week, go over some stuff. If there's any promotions we got to do, I talk about numbers, I talk about goals, all that shit. So today somebody said, the schedule comes out today. So
I assumed it was going to.
Yeah, there's a report yesterday.
Hopefully we get a little bit of luck with the schedule, because we love to do nation vacations. We like to take you guys to different cities to watch the Oilers play. And what happened? Well,
we can go in anywhere.
There is one game in Vegas. It is on a Monday. Fine, we can do a Monday in Vegas. No problem. The one game in Nashville is on a Tuesday. We always have Nashville circled. I don't know that we're going to Nashville on a Tuesday. Seattle, 2 Saturday games. Doable. But really, there's not a whole lot of great options for nation vacations.
I had my eye on Colorado. That's the last game of the season, which is a terrible time to try and watch a hockey game.
I still like the Nashville one because it's still game 3 of the year.
I think we can make
October.
I think we can make Nashville work as a start of the season trip, but it's just going to be tight.
Tuesday, whatever. It's a Tuesday. Get over.
We just need people listening to this to tell us that they want to come to Nashville.
It's just, I guess, like for us, yeah, it makes sense.
There's nothing with a nice watch
Tuesday.
party there that goes with it, though. It's other than
Oh, we got I got tons of partners.
But the schedule won't allow for a watch party.
No, there's not a game like the day before or day after. There's a gap
I can
in
get
the
us a
middle.
cool spot to watch though.
No, 1,000%. There's always a place to go in Nashville. There's the city and the time, the city and the day. I don't really mind. It's just everything else to go with it is not there. So unless we do Nashville and then we go sleep at Frank's place in Philadelphia 2 days later.
The cool thing about Nashville though is that there's usually other stuff going on in the city at the same time.
I've yet to look at the NFL schedule.
Yeah, like can we go to could we make it work where, the only thing that I think about is a Nashville game on a Tuesday is probably we would have to come home Wednesday.
Thursday, I think, is when the flights leave from Nashville's, or Friday, maybe even. Anyways, yeah.
So if it's Friday, then we can, because there's the game Thursday in Philly.
There you go.
So then we would have to just ask people to take more time off work than we usually like to do.
But if there's
you guys work hard enough as it is, listeners. You guys deserve the extra time off. Take it
100%.
off. Tell your boss to calm down, or even, tell your boss to come with us. Or bring your laptop. We all do a little bit of
work group trip.
That's true.
Work while we're there.
I will write you unlicensed doctor notes to get out of work for nation vacations if we have to go in the middle of the week. Liam, thoughts?
There is a Tennessee Titans game right around
Who are they playing?
17th. The Baltimore Ravens in Tennessee on the 15th.
There you go. So
on the Sunday
game on
Sunday foosball game.
And that's right there. Like you walk across
At the end
down
there
Broadway and you walk over.
What was the other game for Nashville?
Tuesday, October the 17th.
No, it was the 2 though, right?
Oh yeah. March something, I think.
No, there's only one Nashville and one
Vegas. There only one?
Or
Vegas. No, there's only one Nashville road game, one Vegas road game.
Well, there's your trip. Official.
We did not get any luck with the schedule. It's doable. We'll figure it out.
We always do.
It's just this was not the layups that we've had.
Who has to prep themselves though?
Who's that?
Those people about 3 hours south of us because we are coming in hot.
We're going back to Calgary this year for sure.
That was the one benefit. 2 Saturday road Calgary games.
And I'm going to collect my portion of the taxes I'm paying on the demolition of the Saddle Dome.
I'm just going to put my hands out and then
whatever falls.
Yeah, whatever comes down from me.
Well, chances are it's asbestos. So I don't know if you want to do that.
You better be standing. You better be sitting above. You better be sitting above Coombe then, because last time he fell down a couple of rows.
Yeah,
he falls into your hand. Then what?
There's a good chance of what you catch in your hand is a tumbling Coombsy.
At this rate, with their expected lineup being not very hot, what do you think the chances are that we could upgrade our seats from, you don't have to go up above the clouds, maybe leave the Sherpas to someone else, perhaps even a box. I don't know what we can pull off.
Ooh, I wonder how much a box is in Calgary, or I'll just break into them as
probably. What if we use our tax credits for that?
See,
I could be wrong, but I think that Calgarians treat the Edmonton game like we do the Montreal and Leafs games, and they resell the tickets.
We don't treat them like.
You know what I mean? Like the fans.
Well, I bet, given how the Flames roster is looking to match up,
I think
it's going to be at least 50-60% of Oilers fans in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Easily. Especially
at least.
I've never been to the Sad Dome, so it'll be nice.
Oh, you got to come with us this year. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Me and you will go on a wander.
They just have to
around the Sad Dome.
You'll be in a child's birthday for 20 minutes.
That's a big day for you.
I'm a big fan of wandering the Saddle Dome.
Drinking old fashions that are not the tastiest drink in the world.
They put in a new policy last year that made it so that we couldn't buy tickets properly for the Battle
we'll
of Alberta.
See if that carries over.
We'll see if they've understood that we didn't come last year and they saw the hit of it because of that.
Well, at the very least, you think like that's 100+ tickets just done.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway,
think of all the sales they'd have at Singapore Sam's.
Come on, I'm ready to break some chopsticks and dance.
Yeah.
God, Singapore Sam's, what a crazy little place.
I can see you there.
Oh, I've been.
I can absolutely see.
I'm not sure if
have you been with the crew?
You've never been in the vibe.
I've been with my crew.
You guys have a high energy level?
There's a reasonable chance where we end up at Singapore Sam's at like 2 a.m. and you see Jay Downton take his clothes off.
It's true. The first person
it has been done before.
It has. I've also saw him buy a whole bus bin of beer. He just bought like the rest of the beer at the end of the night. Anybody want a beer? Everyone's like, no, not really. Not really. He's got like 34 beers in front of him. The worst label he's ever seen. There you go.
Singapore Sam's.
I love Singapore Sam's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. floors.
Speaking of the Flames and in Calgary, on the Jeff Merrick show earlier this week, Elliot Friedman told a story about how an Oilers player texted him and said they knew if they had won the Battle of Alberta series in the playoffs a couple years ago, that they could possibly break up the Flames. Is this one of those stories? Did we talk about this?
Yeah, we did before. We said we weren't going to say it on the...
No, we did not.
No, on Friday. We did, right before we recorded.
I just is this one of those ones where it's like, did that really happen?
I said it feels like Zdeno Chara saying that he watched the Canucks.
Which I believe.
You need more context behind it.
I would, what's the context on it?
I bet it was like they got to like game 4 or 5 and they're like, if we do this,
we're
going
to crush their spirit.
I don't think it was like game 1 walking into the dressing room like, hey boys.
No,
if we finish this series off in 2 years, Elias Lindholm's going to want to walk.
You've been lining up. Johnny Gaudreau has been like in tears the whole time. He doesn't want to be there anymore. Kachuk, they're tapping him on the back. Like, if you leave, I leave. And they heard that, obviously. So yeah, pretty obvious.
I don't
Their
think
goaltender's not very good. He's overpriced.
True.
It's true.
Yeah. I just think something that came up later in the series and then it went from there. It was definitely not something that they went into the series thinking. If they did, then that is
even. I love that. I love that mentality. Go in there, take all their hope out, rip their soul out.
Yeah.
I could see
that's what we're here for.
A coach or a staff member being like, hey, you know what, you guys?
Staff member, yes. I think coach needs to stay more even keel, but the players, sure. The coach has to be like, okay, like calm down here, hold on. I get what you want to do, but let's just go, let's go win the first period today. Let's tear their soul out.
They probably was just looking down on the bench and you can redo your entire team by the look of a bench.
Just look at Connor's OT winner.
Yeah.
Gaudreau was already down the tunnel into the dressing room.
But he had one skate off already.
Yep. Anyway, boys, I know you're excited. We haven't done a Tuesday episode of Oilersnation Radio in a while, so that means the opportunity to bring back the one and only word association.
Wow, I didn't think we were doing this.
It is here.
We don't have Tyler. Tyler checked in for a sec. And
listen, I put in 3.5 minutes of effort on this. And that's what the fine folks at Wilhock Beef Jerky are paying for.
2.5 more minutes than Tyler does.
Mm-hmm. Whether you're in Leduc, Spruce Grove, or out in West Edmonton Mall, there is a spot for you to pick up some Wilhock Beef Jerky, and damn it, do you deserve it. It's delicious, number 1. It's always going to be delicious, number 2. It's very delicious, number 3. Did you catch all that?
When you did the second one, I was like, did he know that he said delicious already?
You don't want some jerky?
But he's not wrong.
May I recommend a garlic sausage or a garlic pepperoni, whatever those things are.
Also grab a jar of the pickled eggs. They looked fantastic.
Yeah, Rick keeps telling us about these pickled eggs.
I gotta go investigate these pickled eggs.
We need Wilhock to.
You like a good pickled egg?
All right, buddy. I
love a pickled egg.
Okay, good. That's what I'm hoping.
We need boots on the ground here to get some of these pickled eggs.
I've heard rumors of this Wilhock pickled egg. My father drove for 2 buses and for 3 hours.
He did. He went on a journey to get those. WilhockBeefJerky.com. Let me see here. I've got 4 little questions for you for word association. We're just going to go around the horn. Dan, Rick, Liam, then back to me. I'm going to play along. Because, why not? Dan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Connor McDavid getting a 5th place Hart Trophy vote is?
Bananas.
Hey.
Asinine.
Disrespectful to the game.
Ludicrous. But not the rapper.
Damn it.
Reverse order, Liam, you're first. Kyler Yamamoto will be a blank after the draft.
Not an Oiler.
Mm-hmm. Rick?
I was going to go with non-Oiler. Let's go with Kraken.
Ooh.
A winger.
I mean, that is true. He will stay there. I'm going to be still available.
No, I think they have to.
After the draft?
Yep.
Didn't they buy him out?
It's not feedback on word association. It's word association.
Bio window's a little bit after too. So
it's Friday.
Oh,
you have to buy them out you have to put them through waivers on Thursday and then buy out Friday.
When's the second bio window open though? Like somebody's going to file for arbitration, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's later on.
It has to be opened by somebody. It's like Pandora's box.
Oh.
Number 3, Dan. Actually, I have 5 questions I can't count.
Oh.
Number 3, Dan.
I'm already running out of breath.
No. Save your words then. I expect Klim Kostin to
rip it up.
Oh, fair. Rick?
Be an Oiler.
Liam?
Resign.
I'm going to say head to the K.
Oh, that's sad.
See, okay, so I know what I've seen tweeted out today. And I thought a lot of those were a little bit worse than what I actually heard when I listened to to Holland. I don't really believe that they're far away. I don't believe you can be far away in this situation. He's not asking for $2 million. I know that. I do wonder though, with a flat cap, with it going nowhere, if they're not talking. And first of all, he said he may not even qualify him. That would be stupid.
That'd be, yeah.
He goes from 750 to 825 or something like that with the qualifying offer, right? Being 10% or something.
Yeah, and if he leaves to the K, he leaves to the K.
Yeah.
So I had to reassess what I was thinking there before. And I do believe it'll get done. I know pretty well for a fact that it's not really about the money. So as long as the Oilers are making their offer, I think it's going to be taken. I know there's most likely an opportunity to go to Russia. That's obvious for him. So maybe in the worst case scenario, I think he maybe goes there for 1 year, then comes back when the cap goes through the roof next year.
Currently,
but I think he stays here, and I think you're going to get him at like 1.2 or 3.
We'll see.
And we'll see if the Oilers want to pay that. And I don't see why you're not. I think if Bukestad goes somewhere else, then Kostin stays. And they may try and go for a Bukestad before the Kostin, but the coaches want him here. I think he stays here.
Currently, Liam, you're up next. The Oilers have 3 draft picks heading into the first round tomorrow. Nothing happens until day 2 and 56. The Oilers will have blank draft picks at the draft.
4.
Yamo trade?
I think they'll trade down from 2.
The Oilers will have blank draft picks at the draft.
4. Yamo trade.
Dan.
Sank. They're going to trade down twice.
I'm going to say 4. I bet they trade down 2. Holland's done it twice already that I can think of off the top of my head at the draft.
He likes his bullets in the chamber.
I was thinking about something today.
What were you thinking about today?
The Oilers love to scout European players.
They do.
And
not Ontario players, as it
not
turns out.
Ontario,
Nor
strictly
Quebec.
not Ontario. And I looked it up, and they have a director of European scouting. I wonder
Who
if
is
they'll. I can't remember his name.
I bet you played for here.
Is it Kevin?
No, it's Milan something. He played.
Lucic?
Kietzner.
No,
Yeah, I was trying to.
no. I'll try and find his name. But my theory is that the Oilers are going to get a Russian player really late in that 6th, 7th. And then eventually he'll be like, it's kind of like when they got Petrov.
I was going to say, do you think it's going to be a Russian player that probably would have gone in like the second or
early
third
round.
if this is a normal world? And now because he's going to get fucking.
Yeah,
because
that's-
only a few teams have been
that's
able to
fair.
actually see him. They did it last year. I can't remember the guy's name, but they drafted him out of Russia and he looks to be pretty good. So they've done it now a couple of years in a row. I wonder if they'll try and snag another one this year.
Smart.
Something I thought about with like Michkov, everyone's talking about, no one's seen him. It's like, well, he's not the only Russian player in this draft.
He's in New York right now.
I know, which is wild.
We've seen him.
I
Is he
want to go
going
back to the thing too. Like, I don't know why you guys worry about it. No good players have ever come out of the OHL.
It's true.
I can't name one.
We don't need
All
any.
97.
Try and find one.
with like a guy like Mishkov or whatever, if he does have to stay in the K for a couple of years, that's perfect for the Oilers. So they don't need him right away, right? Like
In fact, I would say that's ideal.
yes.
Yeah.
If he drops to us in the second round, I'm
Yeah, you
gonna-
take him at 56.
I think we take a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
The Milan Tishy. Oh, did he play in the NHL?
Old tissue, they call it.
Barely. I thought he did. He was with the Columbus Blue Jackets until last year. So this is his first season as the head of European scouting. So you got to think with one of those 3 picks, they're going to let
I don't
him
want to
pick
get
one.
nitpicky here, but I'm not so sure Russia is a part of Europe.
Russia?
Is not a part of Europe.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's
Of course
it's
it is.
considered. It's considered.
I think
Europe.
it's both.
Well, it's in the area. I don't think it's a part of
European,
Europe.
it's
though,
Considered
is
for
it?
Europe for North American purposes.
I think it's the only country in the world that's part of both. Part of 2 continents, sorry.
Russia's its own continent, isn't it?
No.
No, you're thinking of Africa.
Oh,
Shit.
Australia
Australia is its own continent as well.
Antarctica.
Yeah. Mhm.
and
I guess it is part of Asia and Europe. There you go.
and the United States.
Does the Asian line cut off on Russia, and we just don't?
I'm not too familiar.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's definitely part of Europe.
We consider it Europe for North American scouting purposes.
Your
But not the
geography
OHL.
lessons brought to you by Will Hog Beef Jerky. Last question, word association, Dan. We will go on blank nation vacations this year.
5.
Whoa.
If you, well, I guess that's 3 flights and 2 bus trips.
I was going to say we have to make a clarification here.
Yes.
There's nation vacations and there's nation road trips.
Yes.
I think we're going to do 2 and 2.
All right. Liam?
I think the nation vacation will go to 3 cities this season.
Which ones?
Calgary, Vegas, and Seattle.
I think we're going to do 2 and 2, probably. Both Calgary games in Calgary, and then I could see us going Vegas, Seattle.
That's
Maybe.
I have a suspicion Toronto might be in the mix still, but
If we can get back in a box again, I had a blast in Toronto.
that's
I ate, when the Oilers started losing that game, I shit you not, I probably ate 4 steaks.
because there's a Toronto Ottawa
Back to back or
games.
close to your day. Maybe there's a day between them or something like that.
So, anyways,
The nice
March
peppercorn
3, 4,
sauce.
5, something like that.
The nice
options.
peppercorn sauce. Come on.
Green peppercorns? Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oilers are losing. I'm crushing steaks.
Oh,
That's what I
nice.
do. That's what I do. Before we get to, that's kind of all I had on the agenda. I got a very exciting announcement to make before I forget. I got 4 emails about it, so I might as well remember. On September 1st, mark your calendars.
Marking.
Out in Mill Woods, we are going to be having the Oilersnation Open. Dan, what is this, 6 or 5? I don't remember. I was trying to think about it.
I think
Pressure's
this might
on.
even be 4
Because
because
the thing that happened.
Because the blink. Yeah.
3
blip.
Is it 4?
No, it's 5. You're right. No, yeah, it's 5. It's 5.
3 of them
Because we
out.
did
3 of them out.
Cougar
Cougar last
did
year.
Cattail.
And this year.
5. Yeah.
Oilersnation Open number 5. Mark it down. September 1st. That's a Friday leading into the long weekend. You're looking for some bad decisions, some poor life choices. That is the day to get them started. If you haven't been to an Oilersnation Open, I encourage you to go. They are a blast. We're going to have prizes to give away. We're going to raise some money for the Jason Gregor Foundation. We're going to watch Jason Gregor cry. Very important to me every year that we
5th
watch
time.
Jason Gregor cry.
We need to get a line out on that, on like the over under.
Like a
There
timeline?
is no line.
Yeah,
We're
no,
gonna say
over
Always
under
gonna-
6 seconds kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
we're
long
gonna-
it lasts or how long
no,
into?
before it starts. Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to say into. Like, we're going to do it like the anthem at the Super Bowl.
And I'll just stand
that's
behind
okay
him.
because
I'll
it all
stand behind
depends
him
on
with
how
a
he
clock.
starts his thank yous.
I'll just sneak up behind him with a big clock and he'll be like, what the hell is
That's
going
exactly what we need. Like right behind Gregor will be doing his speech, thanking everybody, telling the story of Gregor's grads, what it means to everybody. And behind him, Dan will have a clock with the over under.
on? As soon as he starts crying, I just hit it and it goes,
Bing,
And then
bing,
he
bing,
starts
bing,
crying and everyone starts cheering and he goes, what is this?
Someone's in close looking for the first teardrop.
Yep.
Oh, you could do Gatorade. Then we can guess the Gatorade too.
oh,
We just dump it on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess purple.
yeah, that's fair.
It's blue or bust.
Swamp water. Just put them all together in one big mix.
Anyway, watch out for that. I'm going to have the usual article. We are going to be launching on the 4th of July. That is a Tuesday. This tournament sells out. If you want to participate, it's going to be a group of 4. We're going to have all the details for you officially on July 4th, but I get to announce it today. The Oilersnation Open coming up September 1st. That is a Friday leading into the long weekend. You're going to want to be there. You want to look at Dan? There's your opportunity.
I will be there. That's
There
right
you
in my
go.
backyard. I'm going to walk to the golf course.
That's
Then you got a card all day.
Yep. Maybe I'll take my cart home from around the day before. Huh?
Best part about this is that it's Cougar Creek was fun, but going there was a good time. That bus
Coming
ride back
Coming
though
back
was
was a
a
slog.
45-minute
War
nap.
zone.
quiet
Yeah.
bus ride.
How would you go? No, you guys ended up at the casino last time.
Oh,
Well, it happened. Listen, it happened.
Detours.
You know what? Sometimes the crap table, they come a-calling. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know that I've ever lost $200 faster in my life than that night at the River Creek. We hit the craps tables and we left the craps tables. Anyway, there you have it.
Shortly after.
Watch out on our socials. We're going to have links. It's going to be up at nationgear.ca. That's where you get register your teams. Again, we're going to be raising some money for the Jason Gregor's grads. We're going to have a blast out at Mill Woods on September 1st. Good. Excellent. What else
Used to be a garbage dump. Fun fact. There you go.
That's the circle of life, Dan.
The circle.
Grew up in
of
1 minute you're a golf.
life.
1 minute you're a dumps. Next minute you're a golf course.
I emerged from that garbage dump. That's where I was born.
You're born in it. For our friends
We
at
adopted it.
Betway, For our friends at Betway, I am looking now that the NHL Awards are over. I'm eyeballing Connor McDavid to win the Hart again next year. Even money.
Still even. Oof.
I mean, the odds are going to drop here. He's going to put on one skate and the odds are going to drop.
What about Dylan Holloway Calder odds?
He won't be eligible.
Eligible anymore?
Really? What's the cutoff?
Yeah, he would be.
Well, he played like
Surely.
40 games.
What?
Dylan
That was just a
Holloway
little blink.
When?
this season.
He was out by like December.
Didn't he
How many
play?
games
like,
did he play? We're going to look this up. We have the technology, Liam.
Do we?
I don't think so. I think we should just end the podcast.
An encyclopedia.
Could go
H.
anywhere. Last year, Dylan Holloway. Holy shit. How many games do you guys think Dylan
Oh,
Holloway
man.
played?
Oh, no.
I'm going to guess like 47.
Rick, what do you think?
I just took that number out of my head. 42 then.
I'm going to guess 38.
Somehow, somewhere,
He played 82 games.
he played 51 games in 2022.
Yeah.
2023.
Okay.
So,
What do you
yeah,
guys think of the odds are of Rafa Lavoie? Calder Trophy.
Goodness gracious.
I got a sneaky suspicion the Oilers might be waiting a few more years to get
Yeah.
into that category.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
Who would it be next
Borgo.
year? Broberg might be eligible.
How about this one for a little
Oh, yeah.
Betway boosted bet? Vladdy Guerrero started to heat up a little bit. A couple of dingers recently. Vladdy Dinger against the Giants today, plus 450.
How about that stat? I know Tyler likes Kevin Gosman in that one.
He
his
does,
strikeout.
yeah. So he's got, if I remember correctly off Oilers Nation every day, he's got Jays to win and Gosman over 6 Ks.
Yes. How about the stat that the Jays have been the best team in the AL in the last like 40 games or something, like 17 and 11, whatever that adds up to. 29,
You want to
28.
you want to hear you want to hear
number one in the American League. Are you going to read Alec Manoah?
you want to hear a funny stat line?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So Mr. Alec Manoah today,
Yes.
rookie ball, 2.2 innings.
Oh, no.
Well, at least he got
Oh,
to
no, it's
register
right.
as a result.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no.
2 2/3 innings.
To be fair,
ball.
sorry, Rick, he didn't get out of an inning the last time he pitched in a real game. So this is big. This is really
He
big.
did 2 2/3.
Yeah,
Yes.
so- okay,
All right.
here we go.
Progress.
Hits
Oh, come on.
10,
Holy.
runs 11, earned 11, balls 2, strikeouts 3,
Is
home
he
runs
not playing
2,
T-ball?
He's literally playing teenagers.
home runs 2, an ERA. I've never actually seen one this high, but 37.13.
I've
He's
seen
an
the-
absolute unit, and I do not understand that.
Well, and to be, and I won't be able to find this, so I'll just have to paraphrase it. That
Oh my.
coach came out today and was like, he wasn't
released
overly
it.
upset about it. They said they're happy with what he's been doing down there.
Well,
How?
Well, before today, obviously.
He literally is.
is he throwing underhand?
He's in a slow pitch men's league. Oh no! Damn.
It's incredible.
So that July 1st call up that a lot of people were eyeing, yeah, it's probably not going to
I
happen.
don't know if that one's in the books.
I mean,
What we
you
see
could
in
try.
this season?
The Angels scored 25 runs the other day.
It's
You know?
true. Without
In the fifth inning.
didn't they do
Yeah.
it without Trout and
Probably.
Ohtani or something like that?
At least Kikuchi's back, but all it cost was Alec Manoah.
Oh
Goodness
man, that is
gracious.
brutal. They
Well-
still got that guy coming back though, right? The Japanese pitcher they got from the Dodgers a few years ago, Ryu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he should be
What do you
around
have,
Canada today. He had Tommy John.
Yeah, Tommy John.
Okay, so that'll be an upgrade.
That's going to fix everything.
Because people are like, why haven't they acquired a rotation pitcher? It's like, well, can you wait a month? Which they've been clearly
sometimes
able
maybe
to.
not. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe not. But
Although the good news is baseball's got 2,000 games in a season. Those Jays still have another half to play.
yeah, oh boy, that's
For those who care, Evgeny Dadonov, 2-year deal worth 2.25.
with Vegas. Oh, was it? What
Dallas.
was he with?
Resign.
Dadonov was in
Choke
Dallas. It
extension.
just seems like one of those guys who's
Who
played
plays
for
He was
everywhere.
unceremoniously traded from Vegas, and then they
He's
didn't.
like,
they didn't
they-
follow his no trade or something
Right,
like
because
that.
he was to Ottawa, I think it was.
He's like
Yeah, something like
he's
that.
like Will Ferrell at the beginning of the baseball season a couple years ago.
What did he do?
He played in like the beginning day, the opening day. They had like 8 games.
Yeah.
He suited up in all 8 games.
Oh, that's sick.
He flew around,
That's so
came
much
in,
fun.
made a play, threw a pitch, back on an airplane, flew out of the nice
That's
joint.
awesome.
Hilarious.
The Dadonov's in that group. Honestly, it's Dadonov, Janmark, and Guraganov. Just same person, first of all, and have just played for literally all 32 teams in the NHL.
Jason Gregor,
He'll stay
yesterday speculated that the Oilers have a $1.1 million offer on the table for Matthias Janmark.
He said on the show today too, it's probably even closer to 1 million than we maybe think. Which, I mean, people were complaining about it. It's
I didn't understand that at all.
I thought he was going to get maybe the same as what he got last year.
If you're going to get Matthias Janmark, a guy who, does he not have a 20-goal season under his belt?
I think he has a couple.
A guy that plays on your fourth line for $1 million that can play in all, like, he kills penalties a little bit. He can chip in with a little bit of offense. Like, I don't understand what we're complaining about.
Yeah, I've been on. Yeah, I said all year he's going to stay here. So
anyway, I want to give a shout out lastly to our friends at Star Mechanical. They are Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years. Many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. They work with top local award-winning home builders on their new homes, and they will work closely with you on making sure that all of this is done correctly. Star Mechanical, they are your home for plumbing and heating in Edmonton. Before we wrap up the podcast, gentlemen, does anyone have any bold predictions for the next? We got today's Tuesday. We got the draft Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I'm going to be a hungover bag of shit because I'm going to blink on Thursday.
Nice.
Going. I will not go. I will go, Liam. And then we got free agency kicking off on Saturday. So we got a big 4 days here. Any bold predictions as we end off the podcast? We'll be back on Friday, but today.
My bold prediction for the draft is Michkov goes second.
Who's in second right now?
Anaheim.
Fantilli.
Instead of Adam Fantilli.
Mm-hmm.
There's also reports coming out right now that Will Smith might actually go third to Columbus.
It's amazing
where
the range of
they have a good.
It's crazy.
I thought you were going to say he's going to be performing during the draft.
Pardon?
I thought you were going to say he's going to.
Well, I'm just curious what he does when he gets on stage with Bettman after his last performance.
Slap him a good one.
Just breaks into the. It's here and I like it.
The millennium, come on.
So my bold prediction, it seems a little bit unlikely, but now that he's actually in North America, I think teams going to be way more intrigued to actually talk with him and see what he's like, I guess. So Michkov second is my bold prediction.
My bold prediction is that the Oilers will make a trade for a roster player not named Kyler Yamamoto over the next handful of days. Got to clear some cap space. I think Ken's going to get something done. He's wily.
Apparently they've been trying to be very active.
Well,
apparently they've been active, but haven't been able to.
All right, I'm going to go then. I'm going to say that now I saw something that said today that Carson Soucy most likely will not be signing in Seattle. So I'll call that.
They already got the jersey made.
Cody Ceci is shipped out and they put all their chips in getting Soucy in there.
Dan, you got a bold prediction over the next 4 or 5 days?
I think that Nashville is going to make some weird moves this weekend or this week with Barry Trotz being in there and trying to put his stamp on things and trying to make some news at the draft.
Disrespectful, in my opinion, that they didn't give Leon some kind of award last night.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he stole their souls already. How much more did they...
A percentage of ownership. Maybe a plaque.
I believe that's just understood.
You know, something like that. Maybe a sash at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
I could see him wearing one.
I mean, I'm not greedy.
Just give him a banner.
Fine.
They do just give banners to anybody or anything.
Could you imagine if they put up a banner?
What was that banner that they did? It was like
they won a game on November 27th.
Yeah.
The banner it was a regular season Western Conference champions or something.
Yeah, that's the one that got them.
Although I can't make fun of other teams for hanging banners, and we got a fucking Garth Brooks banner up in our
no one's done 9 shows like that.
Nice coming for him.
God,
I would. Nobody would show up.
In fact, you know what? He owned that place so often. He's the one who hung it up. We just have no way of getting it down.
Put a padlock on it, and he only knows the
He sent
combination.
Trisha Yearwood up on a fucking on a cherry picker.
She's actually staying up there right now.
It was a Skyreach center, a Skyreach thing.
Lift.
Yeah,
a scissor lift.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Skyreach.
It'll always be Skyreach Center to me.
They kept one around just for
Yep.
feel good.
I miss that old barn. I miss it.
Tyler misses that old barn too. Wouldn't know because he never shows up.
Yep. Avoid the grind.
Because he's at Tootsie's right now, and I'm very jealous.
I'm also jealous. That's why I did not let Tyler on the podcast
now.
today.
Did you notice how he was like pretending that he couldn't hear us?
He was doing that. Yeah. I've seen this before on television. What are you trying?
Yeah.
I think I'm going through a tunnel.
If you catch Tyler avoiding the grind and you're listening to this right now, hit us all up. Tyler does like to avoid the grind. We need to keep our eyes on him.
His video was right from the edge of the patio, of the outdoor patio. So it looked like there's trees behind him, but he was just like leaning over the edge.
Yep.
I know what he's up to.
For our friends at Oodle Noodle, Cornerstone Insurance, AMA Travel, Wilhock Beef Jerky, Star Mechanical, and Betway. This is Oilersnation Radio. We're going to be back on Friday to wrap up the draft, preview free agency, and then we're all going to be back in here on Saturday for free agency. If there maybe some emergency podcasts are going to be in order, we'll see what happens. Until then, have a great week.
Play Where's the Love on YouTube.
Play Where's the Love? Doesn't have enough views for Liam's liking.